Welcome to Michelle's Podcast News, your daily update on the latest happenings in the podcasting community. I'm your host, Michelle Tandler, and today we've got some exciting news from one of the biggest names in tech, Apple. Apple Podcasts is now available on the web at podcasts.apple.com. This significant update allows users to access their library and top charts, and even buy premium podcast subscriptions directly from the website. The site syncs seamlessly with a user's Apple account, though you can browse and listen without having to sign in. This means you can enjoy your favorite podcasts from any device with a web browser, whether it is a computer, tablet, or smartphone. The new web interface is accessible to anyone with a web browser on any device, and Apple has ensured it's available on all major browsers, including Safari, Chrome, Edge, and Firefox. Impressively, it's supported in more than 170 countries and regions, each in their local language. However, there are some limitations. The web version doesn't support transcripts, chapters, or downloads at this time. One of the most notable aspects of this update is that Apple Podcasts is now available for the first time on Android devices. While it isn't an app available in the Google Play Store, it's now easy to install Apple Podcasts on any Android phone via the web browser. As a side benefit of being a web app, premium subscriptions aren't subject to revenue sharing with Google, which could be a significant advantage for content creators. For Windows users, this update means you no longer need iTunes for Windows to access podcasts. You can now pay for premium subscriptions on the web platform as well. Existing Apple Podcasts URLs for shows will take you directly to the new web experience, making the transition seamless for current users. Regarding statistics, we reached out to several podcast hosts to understand how they will track this new web traffic. Ausha, Buzzsprout, and Spreaker will list this as Apple Podcasts. Omny Studio will list this separately as an Apple Podcasts website play. Captivate, Podbean, Megaphone, Spotify for podcasters, and RSS.com will list this as a browser play, whether it's Chrome, Firefox, or another. OP3 will correctly list this as Apple Podcasts. As for Apple Podcasts Connect, we're still waiting for a response from Apple on whether all activity from the web version will appear in their statistics. Apple today announced the launch of a Podcasts on the Web feature, which works in Safari, Chrome, Edge, and Firefox on Mac computers, personal computers, and other devices. Podcasts on the web allows users to search for, browse through, and listen to podcasts with access to the Up Next queue and library when signed in to an Apple account. Apple Podcasts on the web works like the Apple Podcasts app, and users can subscribe to and get updates for their favorite shows. Apple has long had a podcast feature that allowed podcasts to be listened to on the web when embedded in an article, but now there is a dedicated website on devices without a podcasts app. You can check out podcasts on the web by going to Apple's podcast.apple.com site. Note that if you have the Podcasts app installed on an iPhone, iPad, or Mac, the website will open the app automatically rather than directing you to the web. Podcasts on the web comes a month after Apple introduced Apple Maps on the web, which serves as an alternative to Google Maps. That wraps up today's episode of Michelle's Podcast News. Thanks for tuning in to hear about the latest developments in the podcasting world. Stay connected and join us again tomorrow for more updates. I'm your host, Michelle Tandler, signing off.